Hey guys, Al here, and welcome to Dark Side Movie Reviews. Now, if you're a guest here, a special welcome to you. Thank you so much for visiting. Not sure how you found us, but I'm sure glad you're here. And as always, for guests, if you're new here, I hope that you love it. I hope that you're just moved so much by what we talk about that you will become a part of the Dark Side community. Join us, guys. We get into some great discussions on this channel. Now, if you're a fan of Into the Badlands and you haven't subscribed, then listen, I don't know what's going on. Hit that subscribe button because we do cover that show heavily, but we are on a mid-season break, so it's perfect timing because it gives us an opportunity to talk about the second season of Luke Cage, which just hit Netflix. I believe it was either Friday morning, like at 12, or Friday night. It just hit Netflix, and yes, I have watched the whole thing. But no worries, because I'm not going to spoil it for you. I promise that I won't do that. I realize that a lot of you guys have not watched it, and a lot of you guys don't like binging shows. I get that. But I do want to talk about it, because I'm going to try my dangdest to convince you that this is a show you need to see. You can hate Marvel. You can be Team DC. This show is amazing. So we're going to get into it. Guys, if you like this, please make sure again that you subscribe at the end of the video. So let's get going. So, the second season of Luke Cage, let me just come right out and say that it is the best second season that we have seen on Netflix for a Marvel show. Now, some of you guys automatically, when I say that, you're thinking about Daredevil and you're thinking about Jessica Jones. Sorry, guys. This season is amazing. I'm not going to go through the cast members. I will put all that stuff in the description below. You guys can look at who they are. Pretty much everybody returns except for the addition of Bushmaster, who is phenomenal as well. So many things about this show is good. Now, the first season of Luke Cage for me was second ranked in my ranking of all of the Netflix Marvel series. The first one was Punisher, which, good gracious, I was surprised how good that was, especially given that he didn't have any powers or anything like that. I didn't know how that was going to come off, but man, Punisher was great. But boy, oh boy, the second season of Luke Cage was really, really good. So you know what? I thought about this as I watched this show, and I know you guys, I said that I was going to cover episode by episode on the last video. I can't. I had to talk about this in a broader sense, and we'll do a spoiler video later. But this is really designed to really move you to see this. If you were thinking you were going to skip it, don't. It is very, very good. So the biggest thing that struck me about this show, and this is really what I want to focus on this video, because when you watch it, I hope that you come back and tell me if you agree with what I'm saying. There's something very special about Luke Cage that happens in that show that doesn't happen on some of the other Marvel Netflix series and some of the other series that are on mainstream TV. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I thought to myself, why is this show so enjoyable? Why is this show is so easy to binge. I mean, it really does pull you really into the next episode. And I couldn't put my finger on exactly what it is. I mean, we could talk about all of the regular things. The character development is great. The performances are really good. All of that stuff is really good. The writing is good. But I couldn't figure out, it was something pervasive. Here's what it is. This will be a short video too, I hope. I said that the last time, it was like 20 minutes, I know. Here's what it is. It is the personification of the city. That's what it is. So what makes this so good is that really the way that they have shot the city, the way that they have written the script, the music that accompanies the show, all of that comes together to really create another character that is New York. And that small piece is really kind of the nucleus or the thing that brings the whole show together and really makes the show so enjoyable. So as we see the characters in the show interact with each other and they also interact with the city, is that interaction with the city that kind of gives us this I don't know what you would call it, maybe even this it factor. Like I said, the city is personified. New York in this show is another character in this show. And they do that in all these kind of, some of the ways they do it are nuanced ways, just the small interactions you see our main characters have with the environment and the people in the show. And some of it is very nuanced in the sense that just the music that they're highlighting in the show, just the way that the script is written, all that stuff creates a Harlem that is literally another person in the show. And it makes the show so good. We've not seen anything like that in any other Netflix series. You could make an argument, I believe, you can make an argument for maybe Daredevil, but not on the level of Luke Cage. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the show. You'll see what I mean. It's almost like it's a feeling that the show gives you, and it's just amazing. It is very, very good. So the way that they have been able to personify the city in the show, New York, has really given this show an amazing element that makes it so very good. I'm trying to think of some movies that have done similar things. The Dark Knight series. So the Dark Knight series does something very similar. They personified Gotham. So Gotham kind of takes on its own kind of feel, scope, and tone that really pulls you through the story as well. It's part of what makes the story so enjoyable. Well, the same thing happens here with Luke Cage. And it just makes for a very, very, very enjoyable experience. Not to mention some of the issues that they do touch. They do touch a lot of social issues. I mean, none of us are surprised about that. If we saw the first season of Luke Cage, we know that happened. They touched a lot of social issues that were relevant. I have no issue with that, because the way that it's done is really folded into the context of the story that makes it fine. It doesn't feel like we're just being beat over our head with the social issues. It's very real and it's very personal to all of the players in the story. Also, what you get here, kudos to Stan Lee for this, by the way, is you do see something that happens with Luke Cage that's really, really interesting. And that's all I'll say, because I don't want to spoil it. But watch the character arc that happens with Luke Cage in the show. I'm going to explain character arc, because I realize people give these like reviews of things in movies and they throw around all these terms, the beat of the movie, the first, the second, the third act, character arc, all that. And some of you guys are like, what the heck does that mean? So character arc is really a simple term, and it really just talks about the transition of a character. Where the character starts at the beginning of the show and where they end. The best example for that I can think of is probably A Christmas Carol, where you see Scrooge starts as this kind of nasty, non-caring person, and at the end, his character is different. His character is caring, more giving, more loving. That's a character arc. So I just felt like I needed to explain that. Guys, anyway, you have to check out Luke Cage. I'm not going to say anything more. I hope I said enough to get you curious enough to even look at it. I will say that the first episode is a little bit slow, but it's okay because it's needed, and you'll appreciate how that first episode rolls out after you see episode 2 through 12, because it really does set us up. It establishes us. But it's a really good episode because you notice some really, oh man, I want to tell you guys, so I want to tell you more than I can, but it really sets up Luke Cage very well for the rest of the narrative, because it establishes where he is and kind of what his relationship is to the Harlem neighborhood. So that's all I'm going to say, you guys. This thing is amazing and has some of the most interesting characters and the vilest protagonist that I have ever experienced in a Netflix show, and maybe even in a Netflix, in a Marvel movie. I'm including the MCU. Vile. And it's amazing how they draw all of this emotion out of you while you're watching it. And the characters are complex and layered. They're not just so black and white. And that's why I said kudos to Stan Lee. I did a video a while ago. I think it was titled What Stan Lee Did That Makes It So Special, something that DC didn't do or whatever. I'm not trying to rag on DC, because I like DC, especially like DC animations. But one of the things that Stan Lee does, and you can see this in Luke Cage, all the Marvel characters are humanized. All the Marvel characters, though they have these special abilities or powers, they're human. They have to navigate relationships like the rest of us. They get hurt by relationships. They get hurt by what goes on around them. They get hurt by the management of their powers. That is one of the things I think that makes Marvel resonate with so many people. I think that it's one of the things that has allowed Marvel to do so well in the MCU. People always ask, well, what's the deal? DC has star power. DC, sorry, something flew over my head. DC has good directors. What is the difference? The difference, in my opinion, if you disagree, feel free to comment, is that from the door, the Marvel characters were created to be characters that resonate with us. They are super beings, but yet they're human. They have a human element. So that's one aspect of what makes them so accessible to us, why we enjoy watching them, why we connect with them so much. The second thing is this, and then we'll be done. The second thing is that consider where they are. I said this in my last video. Consider where they are. Consider where most Marvel characters interact. They interact in environments that are familiar with us. A lot of them are in New York. And then we branch out from different places. Some of them are in Los Angeles. And yes, we do have mythical places like Wakanda, but they are all places that are surrounded by areas that are familiar to us. And that helps us connect with characters more. I think that that's why we enjoy the works from Marvels more than we do some of the DC works. And even some of the TV DC works are like that. Anyway, you guys, having said all of that, make sure you go to Netflix and check out the second season of Luke Cage. I am dying to know what your thoughts are on that, what you think about what I shared. I feel like I didn't spoil anything. I was honest about that. I did not give away anything from the show, but I promise you, you will enjoy it. Later on, you guys will come back and we'll have some spoiler talk where we get into it. It'll be a lot longer video where we can really pick it apart because there are some really, really good things to see in this show, from the storyline to the production. Sweet little cameo in this show. Let me say that little Easter egg in there. That's all I'm going to say. Thought that was pretty cool. Part of it was pretty cool. Some of it was a little bit lame, but on the whole, I thought it was pretty cool. So, guys, I really do hope that you check out the second season of Luke Cage. It is on Netflix right now. 13 shows for this season, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Now, with that, you guys, thank you so much, as always, for visiting. I don't take it lightly. I'm so happy that you're here. Hopefully, you enjoyed yourself. Hit that subscribe button so that we can talk more comic book movies, and, of course, Into the Badlands. I do have that very special video coming out tomorrow. I'm going to put it out at about maybe 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you look for that. I promise you will enjoy it because I've already started to work on it and it's been a lot of fun to do so. And you're going to learn something about some of your favorite Into the Badlands characters that you did not know. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys and getting your feedback. With that, again, guys, thank you so much. As always, please make sure that you subscribe. That little circular button with my face should be popping up somewhere. And then 2 other videos that I've done lately. Make sure you check those out. ITBL fans, Into the Badlands fans, check out the playlist. A lot of great stuff in there. Thanks, guys, and I will see you on the next video.